Hello everyone, welcome to Hamska Academy. So now we are going to learn in this video about the resources. What are resources and how are the resource classified? So what are resources? How are the resources classified? This is a grade 10 geography topic. So let us start learning. As you can see here, this is chapter 1. The learning objectives of this chapter to define resource, what is a resource, and then you will be able to classify the resources. You will be able to divide the different categories of resources. What is sustainable development? Then we'll learn what is resource planning, different soils which are available in our country, soil as a resource, case study will be done, and then what are the steps that have to be taken to conserve soil will be the last part of the chapter. So we are planning to do in a series of videos this particular chapter. So it may have 4 videos, 4 to 5 depending upon the content. So the first video will be made on to define the resource and classification of the resource. Let us start learning now. Resource. What is a resource? Everything in our environment which we can be used to classify our needs and is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally accepted is called as resource, or it is termed as a resource. Everything in our environment what we get which needs to satisfy one or the other human needs, and it has to be technologically accessible, means this technology we should be able to relate that and associate with that. Economically it should give us some economic benefit, and culturally which is acceptable is known as resource. This is a 2 marks question. Generally when it is asked for 3 marks, we need to write 2 more points extra for. But for 1 mark when it is asked, you can write the entire sentence that everything we get in the nature and which satisfies the human needs, technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable is termed as a resource. Human beings themselves are essential components of resource, because we as humans only can identify which is a resource or what is a resource. Then only we come to know or we will be able to use that. The transform materials available in the environment into resources and use them. Beautiful statement. Humans transform means they know the raw material, they take the raw material and they make it into a useful product from the environment, and it turns as a resource. So what is a resource? A resource is something which is available in nature, which has to satisfy one of the human needs. So it can get associated with technology, easily accessible, economically it should give some benefit, and culturally which has to be accepted is known as a resource. Human beings themselves are essential components of resource, and they transform the materials available in the nature or the environment and convert that into a useful resource for us or for the human society. So these are the key points about resources. Now let us move to learn the classification of resources. How are the resources classified? You can see the picture. The resources are classified into different categories. Now basically there should be some criteria to divide or to classify the resources. So we have seen here there are 4 criteria of classification. The first criteria is the basis of origin, how it has originated. Second criteria is the basis of exhaustibility, how it is exhaustible nature. Third, basis on the ownership, and 4, status of development. These are the 4 criteria which are used to classify the existing resources on the planet. Now let us see the first classification. The first classification divides them into 2 groups. One is on the basis of the origin, they are biotic or abiotic resources. Are they having living objects or non-living objects, you can see. Then with life, without life. Basis of exhaustibility, the resources are classified into renewable and non-renewable. Renewable, which can be used multiple times. Non-renewable, which cannot be used more than once. Once if used, it is done. Basing on the ownership, we have individual, community, national and international relations. Who owns this? Individuals own this, community owns this, national country owns this, or it is an international ownership. Basing on the status of the development, we have potential, we have developed, we have stock and reserves. We have 3 categories here: potential, developed stock and reserve. Potential, which has their, developed, which we are using, reserve, which is there for the future. So we are dividing the resources basing on different categories. If you see the screen here, the resources are also classified into natural resources and human resources. As per the textbook, we have taken this picture. So it is dividing it into natural resources and human resources. The natural resources are again further divided into the renewable and the non-renewable, and the renewable are divided into continuous and biological. Biological is further divided into natural and wildlife. When it comes to non-renewable, recyclable, non-recyclable, and humans, structures and institutions, quantity and quality. So let us learn about each category of resources now. On the basis of the origin, we have biotic and abiotic resources. Biotic resources are obtained from biosphere, which have life. As I mentioned earlier, all the living components which has life, human beings, flora, fauna, fisheries, livestock are examples of biotic. They are obtained from biosphere. Now, as we all know, there are 4 spheres. One is atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere. Atmosphere is related to air, hydrosphere is water, lithosphere land, and biosphere is related to the life. So all the living things on this planet come under biosphere, and from biosphere we obtain the biotic resources. Coming to the abiotic resources or abiotic resources, either way you can pronounce it. So all of these which are composed of non-living things, the non-living things are called abiotic resources or abiotic resources. The examples of abiotic resources are rocks and metals. The examples of abiotic resources are rocks and metal. Now coming to the second category of classification, basis of exhaustibility. How they get exhausted? Renewable and non-renewable. Basing on the exhaustibility, they are renewable and non-renewable energies. So the resources which can be renewed, which can be reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical process are known as renewable or replenishable resources. The resources which are used once can be reproduced by some mechanical, physical or chemical process, that is called as renewable or replenishable resources. These resources may be further be divided into continuous or flow resources. Examples of the renewable resources are solar and wind energy are examples. We can also add like water, forest, wildlife, etc. Coming to non-renewable resources of energy. The non-renewable resources, like, they occur over a very long period of time in the nature. So it takes a very long geological time. Means it may take 200 years, 400 years, because coal, when the earthquakes happen, the trees fell in under the layers of the earth, and it takes nearly 400 years for the trees and all to get converted into coal. So these kind of things are taking long time, a very long time than the human life. So we need to use these kind of resources very carefully. Sometimes they take millions of years in their formation. It's not only hundreds of years, it may take millions of years to form. So we need to use these particular resources very carefully. And these resources examples are metals, which are recyclable, and some are like fossil fuels which cannot be recycled. Once used, they are finished. Petrol used, finished. Coal used, finished. So like this are the fossil fuels, and there are some which can be reused. So examples of reusable are minerals. Examples of exhaustibles are fossil fuels. Now we are looking at the third category, that is individual and community, national and international resources. Basis of this particular classification is ownership. Who is the owner of the property? Who is the owner of the resource? Basing on that, we have divided. So individual resources completely is a private or an individual property. In villages, people own the lands. In urban areas, people own the plots, houses, and other property. Similarly, there are plantations, pasture lands, ponds, water in the wells, etc. are examples for individual resources. But when it comes to community owned resources, which is the second classification, that is, they are accessible to all the members of the community. It is not individually owned, it is owned by the community as a group. Example, the grazing grounds, burial grounds, public parks, picnic spots, playgrounds, etc. Coming to the third one, that is the natural resources. The natural resources are owned by a nation or a country. So we know there are many natural resources like minerals, water resources, forest, wildlife, land within the political boundaries, and also oceanic area up to 12 nautic miles or 22.2 kilometers from the coast, termed as territorial waters, and resources therein belong to the nation. So we have natural resources, which include under natural resources are minerals, water resources, forest, wildlife, land, etc. We also have the share in the international waters up to 12 nautic miles, which is roughly 22.2 kilometers. That water is called the territorial water. Means from the coast, it is up to 12 miles. We have our control, 12 nautical miles, which is roughly 22.2 kilometers. Within this area, all the resources can be used by our country. If we cross that, it enters into international water. So it becomes international border in the water, the ocean. And coming to the international resources, these are regulated by international institutions. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zones belong to the open ocean, and no individuals or any country can utilize these without the concurrence of international institutions. So as we learned about the nautic miles, once we cross the nautic mile limit and we enter into the international ocean resources, we cannot use, neither any individual nor any country can use those resources without the permission or the concurrence of the international institutions. So, on the basis of the ownership, we can divide the resources into four major categories: individual, community, national, and international. On the basis of the status of the development, we can also divide the resources into two categories broadly, three categories: potential, development stock, and reserves. What is the potential stock? Potential resources means the resources which are found in a region but not being utilized till now. They have the potential, but they are not utilizing the resources. The example, Rajasthan and Gujarat has enormous potential at the development of wind and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. That is an example for potential resources. Potential resources means the resources which are found, means we have the knowledge that there are resources there, but we are not doing the things which need to utilize them. It is not been utilized yet. That kind of resources are called potential resources. Example, in Rajasthan and Gujarat, we have a lot of scope for wind and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed properly. Now moving to developed resources. There are resources which are surveyed, which are studied, and we know about their quality and quantity, which has been determined for utilization. The development of these resources depends upon the technology and the level of their feasibility. How can we use this one? That is the feasibility. So technology and feasibility. So materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy the human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology or knowledge to access these, are called as stock resources. Example, hydrogen can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the advanced technology to use it. First thing is potential. We know there is potential, we can use it, but we are not using it. Second thing is developed resources or developed resources. We studied about them, we know about them, we know how it can be utilized, but we don't have the technology and the feasibility to use it. First one, we know, we are not putting the efforts. Second one, we know, but we don't know what to do with that and how to take that. We don't have the technology to use it. Coming to the third category, that is the reserves. Reserves are the subset of the stocks, which can be put into use with the help of existing technology, but their use has not been started. So we know how to use them. The existing technology is sufficient to use that, but this has not been used, and they can be used for meeting future requirements. Like for example, water in the dams, forests is a reserve which can be used in the future. So on the basis of the status of development, we can classify them into three major groups, that is potential, developed stock, and reserve. Potential, we know there is a potential, we are not using it. We have sufficient technology and we can use that, but we are not using it. Developed, we know, we determined, we studied about the quality and the quantity, but we don't have the technology and the feasibility to use it. We don't have the equipment or we don't have the knowledge to use that. When it comes to the stock, the technology is not sufficient to use that. But when it comes to reserves, we know how to use that. We have the technology and we are preserving it for the future needs. As the title suggests, we are reserving it for the future requirement. That is the different categories on the basis of status of development, the stocks are classified. So in this video, we learned what is a resource, how the resources are classified, what is the basis of that, and how is the classification done. Stay tuned and please subscribe. We'll be adding more videos in the coming days. Thank you.